needed to be on point. Offensively, they put pressure on early. And on the mound, Miguel Batista stepped up, combining with the bullpen on a 3-0 shutout. Levon never misses a start, and he looks to build on a complete game win last time out.
It's a great day for baseball.
Well, it's a little bit of a different atmosphere at the ballpark tonight. We know who's starting, and we also know who the all-star closer is. Who would not want Matt Cap's autograph? Interesting night here last night. The Nats won a very well-played game, and so it's worth another look back to see what happened. Miguel Batista just stepped up, finding out from Jim Riggleman moments before he went to the bullpen that he was starting the game, and he looked like he'd been planning on it for 5 days.
Well, you have to be ready to play when you're a reliever. You have to come to the ballpark with the thought process that I might pitch tonight, I might pitch a couple of innings, and if you're Miguel Batista, I may even have to start a game. So he comes ready to start a ball game every day. If he gets an inning in or two, it's excellent, and he just did a magnificent job and then turned it over to the other guys in the regular bullpen.
No runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts by the pitching staff. It just seemed to work out perfectly. Burnett's 2 innings. Storen set it up for Matt Capps. He finally gets a save opportunity. They've been few and far between.
Well, and you can't anticipate anything or assume anything. You always have to think, if you're ready and you're healthy, you're going to go out there and pitch. And it was nice to see Capps get in there and finish it off.
So that was game number 100 last night. The Nats winning 43 of the first 100, 32 last year. The run differential is almost half. The ERA for the bullpen is about a 1.5 per game, and the errors are down. So there is a good trend going on, even though at times it doesn't seem like things are moving very quickly. Now, Levon, outstanding last time out. He had the complete game in Cincinnati. And in that ball game, 7 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody.
Well, we can always count on him to take the ball every 5th day, and sometimes we're going to get an extra special outing out of Levon, and this is, once again, another great complete game. He's strong in every facet. There you see him swinging the bat. You're going to see a nice defensive play here. So as fundamentals go, he is as good as they get in the game, and at 35 years old, he is as casual as he may look, but he's prepared totally to go the distance every 5th day. And in Cincinnati, it was just one of those beautiful days. He was averaging 12 pitch an inning to get us off the field. It was a very hot and humid day. And tonight, once again, very hot and humid. And there's Levon Hernandez taking the ball.
7 innings or more 9 times, couple of complete games. And he's 3-0 against the Atlanta Braves over the last 2 years. He'll have to be good, because Tim Hudson is always great against the Nats. 9-1 with a 1.51 ERA in his career against Washington. Our hitters and the Nationals pitcher Levon Hernandez have a lot of work ahead of them against a good ball club tonight. TNT, rethink possible. And by Suzuki and the new Kazashi midsize sports sedan. Suzuki, the power of engineering. Warm night here at the ballpark. It has been a sizzler in the district today. Mostly clear skies, little hazy overhead. Fans coming in for the second game of this 6-game homestand. And the Nats off to a good start last night. Here are the Braves. Brian McCann driving in runs since the All-Star break. He's 0 for his last 6. But he's the most productive catcher offensively in the major leagues over the last couple of years, along with Joe Mauer. Just great numbers for the Atlanta Ball Club. The Braves are 6th in batting average, 5th in runs. And here's Livan Hernandez. Now, his career record against Atlanta, as I mentioned, not that great. 6-15 with a 5.16 ERA. 29th career start against the Braves, but he's 3-0 with an ERA of under 3 in 4 starts over the last 2 years against Atlanta. First pitch of the game at 7:06 is a strike. Martin Prado hitless last night, one of the few times this year. 0 for 4. He leads the major leagues in multi-hit games with 43 of them. And Livan drops in the breaking ball.
And we saw a lot of those breaking balls, Bob, that were backing up and kind of looked like they were high being called for strikes last night. We like that off the bat.
0-2 pitch. Going right after him. Prado fouls it off to the right. Martin Prado, 321 against right-handed pitchers this year. Here's our train game time weather. It's 91 at the ballpark. Humidity not too bad, but it sure doesn't feel like it. Visit train.com to find a dealer near you. Hard to stop a train. Prado reaching. Look at him get a base hit. 0-2, fouled one off. Then he extends the arms and bumps one into right center field. That's his 135th hit of the year. PNC Bank Scouting Report brought to you by PNC for the Achiever in us all. Pencil him in every 5th day. You can count on him. Do that voodoo that you do. Throw all those balls that move all over the place. And as fundamentally sound as we said in the open as a pitcher can get, hitting, running the bases, fielding his own position, things like that, besides going out there and giving you a great effort. Next up, the rookie Jason Hayward, also hitless last night. Although a pitch hit him in the first inning, then he went 0 for 3. That ended his 9-game winning streak, or pardon me, hitting streak. And because of his hitting and McCann and the rest of the Braves, they've had a lot of long winning streaks this year. Atlanta 15 games over 500, but only 3.5 games up on the resurgent Phillies now. 12-year veteran Bill Miller has the plate. Mike Riley, the crew chief at first. Chad Fairchild, second base. Eric Cooper at third. Livan was ahead of Prado 0-2. He's behind Hayward 2-0. Prado gets a start. That ball is fouled off of Hayward's foot. Martin Prado doesn't do a lot of running. Only 4 stolen bases in 7 attempts. And the Braves with 42 steals, 3rd lowest in the league. Well, you see the quick to home plate that Livan has. It looks like it's a basically start the runner. They call it a run and hit. We call it a hit and run because you want the runner to get the second baseman to close towards second base and then get Hayward to be able to slap a base hit through there. Only the Cubs and the Giants have stolen fewer bases than the Braves. 2-1 pitch. It's a high strike. Since he came back from that thumb injury, he's been much more effective than when we last saw him. And that was an injury suffered by sliding headfirst into a bag. Well, I don't see Hayward as a guy that's going to steal you 30 to 50 bases a year. You're going to need him as a big power hitting cleanup type guy, kind of like a Freddie McGriff. Steal bases every now and then, but definitely doesn't need to be sliding head first and possibly injuring himself. Target away on 2-2. Need him in the lineup. He'll jack this one down the right field line. It'll hit at the 335 mark. Prado heading for third. He will be held by Brian Snitker, the coach over there. And the Braves have something going with 2 consecutive base hits.
Well, the Braves came out smoking tonight. They definitely want to try to make up for last night, get something on the board early. And right there was just too much of the plate. Down and in to a lefty, or where Hayward can get extension. You just saw him rifle it down the right field line.
Chipper Jones now at 255. Infield back. Any ground ball beyond the mound will be an RBI. And Chipper probably going to put the ball in play. 271 at-bats this year. He's fanned 44 times, walked 55. And it sort of looks like Levon doesn't want to have a whole lot to do with him. But the problem is, if he loads it up, he has another lefty who's dangerous, and Brian McCann. McCann, another Brave that was hitless last night. Chipper had a base hit in 4 ABs. That's how good Batista and the bullpen were last night. That ball lifted out to center, plenty deep to score Prado and to send Hayward to third. Braves all on the board already. And for Chipper Jones, his 40th RBI of the year. You might be interested to know that Ian Desmond has 2 more RBIs than Chipper Jones does this year. Here's the Nationals defensively. Desmond and Kennedy up the middle. Guzman is 0 for his last 11. He's not in the lineup tonight. Harrison, Bernardino, Willingham the night off. And then Niger in center. Pudge behind the plate. Zimmerman, as usual, across from Adam Dunn. So the Braves have another runner at third with 1 out, and Brian McCann's the hitter. McCann hitting 271. On base percentage because of his 46 walks of 380.
You'll love this stat, Bob. We've now allowed our opponents to score in the first inning of 21 of the last 25 games.
That's unbelievable. And I think over that time, the Nationals have scored in the first inning less than a handful.
Well, Levon's done a very nice job, but once again, you just put yourself behind the 8 ball. You're trying to chase down the lead to start the game.
At least he's not doing it by walking people. He's going after the Braves, and they put it in play. He had a ball game against them this year on May 4th in this ballpark where he threw 41 pitches in the first inning. And then he went 5 1/3. The Nats won the game 6-3 when Levon only gave up 2 runs, 1 earned. So he's had some first inning issues against Atlanta this year. Did not pitch at Turner Field on our recent visit there. And the slow breaking ball is inside, 3-1. A couple of finals today in the National League. In the Central, at home, Houston beat the Cubs 8-1. And Cincinnati took 2 out of 3 at Milwaukee. They won today 10-2. Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto hit home runs. Votto, his league leading 26th. And there's a walk to Brian McCann. Now it's Eric Hinsky coming up with the double play in order. Well, and again, Rob, that appeared to be a hitter that Levon didn't want to have a whole lot to do with.
But for Levon, who's great at changing speeds and making the ball move all over the place, this is a guy that worries me more. He's got a much slower bat speed, very powerful guy, and if you find his bat, he's trying to just launch the ball. McCann, much more of a seasoned all-star type hitter. He's trying to put the ball all over the ballpark.
And Levon is behind Eric Hinsky. 9th season. He's been with the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Rays, Pirates, Yankees. Before coming to Atlanta as a free agent. Signed on the 12th of January. That's down the left field line and about 5 feet foul. How about a guy who's following some championships around, or vice versa?
Hinsky's a very lucky piece to have on your team. There's even Tampa Bay in 08.
First year in the big leagues, drove in 84 runs for the Blue Jays. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Levon misses away, staying out there.
I was back in Toronto when he was a Rookie of the Year. He's never able to duplicate those numbers. Still very dangerous. So he hit a lot of pinch hit home runs in big games.
Three and one. None of these pitches very close.
No.
And Pudge keeps setting up just off the plate. And then Levon's missing even further away.
Well, they're doing a lot of dancing, but there's not a lot of velocity, and so they're almost like floating in reverse of his breaking balls. Kind of flat, too.
Gets the corner with that one.
Well, that big, slow breaking ball, though, that's a show-me pitch. You can't keep duplicating those over and over because eventually they're going to clock those and make adjustments. So Levon's going to have to find something he can throw about 85 miles an hour in here to change up off of.
Runner goes at first. Strike 3 call. The runner's hung up between second and first. Now Dunn throws home, and the runner is safe. So Brian McCann got himself in a rundown, and then Jason Hayward steals home on a strikeout, and the Braves have 2 runs on the board.
Well, and the wrong play here was Ian Desmond giving up the ball too soon. He's running towards home. He's got to just show the ball and then look towards home. If you can't tag the runner out before this run scores, the run scores. And so Ian Desmond was in control of that play. He never should have given up the ball. So right here, he starts running it back. Now you got to think home with Hayward. And as soon as he gives up the ball to Adam Dunn, Hayward takes off for home.
Yeah, Desmond never really ran the runner back toward Adam Dunn that much.
But you have to know that you must make that tag before the runner takes off from third. And once McCann was able to go back towards second base, that's when that play went the wrong way.
Well, and then, Adam Dunn was running towards second, trailing the runner. He had to make an across-the-body throw. So the Braves pull off a couple of stolen bases, one of them of home by Hayward. And the hitter will be Troy Gloss now with McCann at second base.
Well, and essentially with 2 outs, you call that a double steal. And you're hoping the throw goes through. But how you practice that play is the shortstop comes to second base, runs towards the pitcher's mound, cuts the ball off, and then comes towards home. It's imperative to try to cut the run off, more importantly than trying to get the third out right there.
Yeah.
And so not only did the run score, you didn't get the third out. So we're just trying to show that that was not the way the play worked perfectly for the Braves, but not well for the Nationals.
One ball, 1 strike to Gloss, who's driven in 61 runs. Pull that outside pitch. Zimmerman has it. Over to Dunn, top of the first over. But the Braves with a couple of hits, a walk, and 2 steals put 2 on the board. left-handed bats in there. We know Adam Dunn was going to be in there, but he's only 10 for his last 44. Hitting well here at home, but Adam Kennedy's in there batting second. Haven't seen him there hardly at all this year. Willie Harris 7th, and Roger Bernardina batting 5th with Josh Willingham on the bench tonight. Well, I'm sure there are some Braves fans who already figure this guy has all the runs he needs. Tim Hudson having a fantastic year, and he throws a first pitch fastball in there to Niger Morgan.
Now you want to talk about the counterpart to Levon and that consistency. You're looking at him out there, Tim Hudson.
5th in the league in 2 important categories that revolve around the other team getting hits and scoring runs. 218 opponent's batting average, 5th in the league. 2.47 earned run average, 5th in the league. Trying to become an 11-game winner tonight, making his 21st start. He's going to check his swing and strike out.
PNC Bank scouting report. This is start 331 for Tim Hudson. You talk about the dominator. His record's 158 and 83 this year, 135 innings pitched, only 104 in hits. And a level playing field on the road. He's got a 2.3 ERA. On the road a 2.6 ERA. At home a 2.3 ERA. And 18 times he's gone 6 innings, and 12 times he's gone 7 innings, and 4 he's gone 8 innings.
So a couple of guys used to pitching deep into a ball game. Adam Kennedy stepping in at 258.
Only twice this season he has given up more than 3 runs in an outing. Once in June and once in July.
One more note on Tim Hudson. It's a good thing the Braves didn't go up 3-0. In his career, when he gets a 3-run lead, he's 144 and 17. Nearly unbeatable. Adam Kennedy with a good stroke out to right center. Hayward over to cut it off, and Adams aboard with 1 out, with Ryan Zimmerman coming up. Braves defensively, bottom 6 in the league. They're rated number 11. Hayward has their strongest arm in the outfield. Melky Cabrera playing center these days because Nate McLouth was sent down. They added the reliable Alex Gonzalez at short in a trade 2 weeks ago today. And Brian McCann, solid catcher, not a Gold Glover behind the plate. And the Nats were able to run on him and Tommy Henson quite a bit last night. Ryan Zimmerman hitting 294. Target well away, and that one misses out there, ball 1. Zimmerman had a first inning ground rule double straightaway center field. Then he went 0 for 3, struck out a couple of times after that. Still hitting .354 over his last 17 games. Chopper, tough play. Chipper Jones, backhand, short hop. And coming off the bag, but staying on long enough, Troy Gloss to get the put out. 2 down.
Well, it's just a slow chopper, backhanded well by Chipper Jones. He doesn't even look at second base. He just takes the out. This is how you stop big innings from happening, Bob. He saw the runner had too much towards second base, so he allowed Kennedy to just go to second and take the out, so now you get 2 outs.
Now he has to stay home on the Adam Dunn shift because there's a runner at second base. Adam will swing at the first pitch and bounce it between the shortstop and the second baseman. And he's done. So are the Nats in the bottom of the first. Braves on top early by 2.
the guy at third, which you never should do. So right here, stop it. He's got to be thinking, okay, I've got to make sure I've got my eye on the guy at third, but once he starts committing this way, that's when the run is going to score. So now as he's going to first and he starts taking too much time to worry about McCann, and then he unloads the ball, now right here he's going to unload the ball. Now right here he should be worried about home instead. So as soon as he commits the ball to Dunn, the run comes in and scores. And that's how that play is designed by the Braves to work. And how you defend it is you catch the ball at second and take a right-hand turn and go to the pitcher's mound. You're actually supposed to cut that ball off at the grass. So Bobby Cox executing that play perfectly. We did not defend it well.
Top of the second underway, Alex Gonzalez. And I think you could see from the replay, as soon as the ball left Ian Desmond's hand, Hayward was on his way home. And then Adam Dunn with an off-balance throw, no chance. Gonzalez hitting .302 for the Braves in 11 ball games since joining them.
It's a young mistake. He's going to see it a lot more at this level, and he's going to learn from that. And hopefully that after the game they'll talk about it. Right now you don't worry about it. You go out and play the rest of the game. But you just discuss, and so you can learn from that. The run is way more important than a third out.
And if anything, Desmond should run the runner back toward Dunn. If the runner at third never commits, then you go ahead and make the tag.
Right.
Or you get it to Dunn and he tags the guy out quickly. That ball down into the corner and foul. Willie Harris in pursuit. Gonzalez hasn't hit a home run for the Braves, but in 85 games with Toronto, he hit 17 and drove in 50. How about these guys? And there's Escobar, who was struggling a bit, 386, but hadn't played much.
Well, no, this is with Toronto. This is since the trade.
Yep.
And Escobar's looked much better up with Toronto than Gonzalez.
I think the American League is going to, I think if you're a hitter, you go to the American League. If you're a pitcher, you're holding your breath if you go over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you made a great point on the Desmond. And you're taught, especially as you move up levels in professional baseball, that a rundown should only take one throw. And it should be Ian Desmond running the guy all the way back to the base he came from, and then you make that last throw and Dunn just tags him, and that's where it ends.
Melky Cabrera, 4 for his last 7. He was the one guy who swung the bat well for the Braves last night. Singles to left center in the second inning and the 5th. Adam Kennedy with a nice big hop. One more element to that deal with Toronto. Escobar, only 27 years of age. A lot of people still feel he'll be a star wherever he plays. So the Braves wanted help now. They're getting it from Gonzalez, and Toronto gets a good player for the future. Bobby Cox, of course, managed and was a GM in Toronto.
Alex Gonzalez has been on a lot of teams and a lot of contending teams. The Marlins, the Reds. He was with the Red Sox last year, and so the Braves are well aware of that going down the stretch here in first place.
Gonzalez and Luis Castillo, quite a combination for 4 years down in Florida. Well, Levon has another hitter reaching. Desmond on the charge. And a very quick inning as he retires. Tim Hudson. 5 in a row for Levon, 2-0 Atlanta. starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, in theaters August 6th. By Hager, established 1926. Your own great moment starts at Hager.com. And by Acura. Acura, advance. On to the bottom of the second, Bernardino, Rodriguez, and Harris. And here at Nationals Park on a very warm evening, let's have a look at a comparison on our Luna double. First 693 career games. Zimmerman, more extra base hits. Chipper hitting a little higher, as well as the slugging percentage. And Ryan, of course, the edge in fielding. Call for the Luna double. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA.
Pretty soon, maybe even before that point, didn't Chipper move to the outfield for a little bit? Then they moved him back to the infield because he was tearing up his hamstrings out in left field. But very nice similar numbers there with Ryan Zimmerman, because now obviously the switch hitting Chipper Jones is being mentioned for the Hall of Fame someday.
Chipper lost one entire season to knee problems back in '94. And ironically, that turned out to be an abbreviated season with the lockout. That was his first full year in the big leagues. And then he got it going the year after and has pretty much been churning out the numbers ever since. Bernardino at 271. Roger 1 for 3 tonight, but he's just 4 for his last 25. Took Hudson only 10 pitches to get 3 outs in the first inning. And we've seen our left-handed batters with a lot of called third strikes lately against right-handed pitchers.
UPS store here on the pitch track, and that is the patented Tim Hudson running fastball. Bob likes to refer to it as the swing back. It's thrown right at the lefty's hip, and then it just comes right across the plate, and what it does is it freezes the hitter, and you saw Bernardino can't pull the trigger on a swing.
UPS store does a lot more than shipping, like offering moving boxes and supplies. If you're going to jam the plate like Bernardino does,
got to be ready for that.
Better be able to react to that pitch.
You got to be able to open up that front hip as quickly as possible and turn on it. You might hit it foul, but at least you're making some contact.
Here's Pudge Rodriguez. And that one well outside.
I mean, the best of all time that I've seen was Greg Maddux with that pitch. And now we see more and more pitchers going to that sinker because it was just something that was always supposed to be go away from a lefty, go in on a righty. Now you use it both ways.
Pudge 13 hits career against Hudson. And he almost had another one on a flare down the right field line. 448. The batting average, couple of home runs. So maybe it'll be Pudge, who's also hit well against Atlanta in his career. Needing to see a pitcher that he's familiar with and has had success against to get him out of his worst slump of the season.
Hudson's just got a couple of good pitches that are designed to keep you off balance, Bob, especially righties, where he can throw a lot of pitches, the sinker in on you and then throw sliders away from you, and vice versa to the lefties, and then freeze you with that sinker.
And a two-hopper to the right side, handled by Martin Prado. Willie Harris, in a Nationals 3-2 win, got the Nats a walk-off after Scott Olson had taken a no-hitter into the 8th inning that night. And it took some last at-bat heroics after the Braves had scored 2 in the 8th to tie that game to win it for the Nationals. Washington won the first game of that series 6-3 behind Levon. 7-6 Braves in game 2 on a night when Hansen and Adelano were dueling. And then Olson, of course, took on Tim Hudson in that game in which the Nationals won 3-2.
Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning.
And we'll be looking forward to Scott Olson making his return to the mound tomorrow night. Originally, it was Craig Stammen. He'll go on Friday against the Phillies now, as Jim Riggleman will welcome a left-hander into the rotation. All of a sudden, there's balance. Detweiler and Olson, lefties.
Well, it pushes everybody back a day, and they're still hoping that Steven Strasburg can make his next start. They're still scheduling him for his next start, but it just pushes back Stammen and Detweiler. And Greg was Scott was very excited today in the locker room, getting back. He's excited to start tomorrow. It's nice to see some of our injured guys coming back. I know that there's Steven. Marquis is starting tonight down in Syracuse.
Debbie Taylor will have more on the Strasburg situation when we come back for the third inning. Tim Hudson retiring 6 of his first 7.
To when he pitched in college?
Very similar. They kind of put me on the same program that I'm at now, and a lot of it has to do with just kind of hitting the wall a little bit. Like I said, going into uncharted territory here, so I just got to be smart about it and got to work hard. And I'm just going to be working with Lee every day to get back soon.
Steven also said he does feel better today, and he will continue working on his range of motion. It's day to day, Bob.
Another multi-hit game for Martin Prado, his 44th of the year, when Steven Strasburg said Lee, talking about Lee Kuntz, the head trainer of the Nats. This is the second consecutive game Levon has fanned on a kick save.
Must be excited over watching a lot of the World Cup soccer, but that's not a kick save and a beauty as he misses it up the middle. So Prado not trying to do too much against the speed-changing Levon Hernandez, just taking what he's given and smacking it up the middle or smacking it over the second baseman's reach.
There are some pitchers in the National League East getting some early abuse tonight. And there's Prado with those 44 multi-hit games, leads the major leagues. Alex Sanabia of the Marlins giving up 4 in the first at San Francisco. And then up in New York, Johan Santana gave up 6 in the top of the first to St. Louis, including Matt Holliday's 19th home run. Things going okay for the Phillies and Roy Halladay, though. They lead Arizona 2-0 third inning. So that's how the rest of the East is doing early tonight. And here's Jason Hayward, who's double and then subsequent steal of home were the Atlanta highlights from that top of the first when they scored 2. In that inning, they started Prado during the Hayward at bat. Came back on a foul ball. That one is up and in, 2-1.
Well, I do like trying to tie up his hands and not let him get extension, because we saw how far he hit a ball the last time he played at this ballpark when they were in town. You definitely don't want him trying to go deep to left center field or that gap, so just tie him up. Try to tie his hands up as much as you can so he can't get extended.
Robin, I did notice that maintenance vehicle that used to sit behind the center field fence was shortly thereafter moved from that area. He almost took out a windshield. There's an off-speed pitch. It's a breaking ball that's high in the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Have you seen the Geico commercial where Randy Johnson's having a snowball fight and he takes out the guy's garage? Well, that's what happened to that truck out there in right center field. Great big breaking ball by Livan Hernandez. Back inside again.
Tried to swing back that heater.
So Randy Johnson goes, "You think they'll notice?" He took out the guy's garage.
Why didn't they film that commercial while he was still pitching? Surely he's lost a few miles an hour. 3-2, runner goes. Ground ball right side. They'll go for 1. Kennedy gets the shore out. And the Braves are doing a lot of good fundamental things on the bases tonight to grab 90 feet at a time. Chipper Jones coming up. Come on out Sunday. Phillies will be here. Your Sunday family fun pack ticket is $14. It includes a seat for the ball game, hot dog, chips, and a soda. Visit nationals.com/kids to purchase your family fun pack tickets. Here's Chipper. Chipper Jones lifted a fly ball to center for a sac fly. This one to left. Willie Harris, room enough on the foul ball. Off the bat of the left-hander, that thing came back in for Willie. Plenty of room to make the play. 2 down. Harris has made 1 error this year, and that was as a third baseman. A costly one behind Ross Detweiler on Sunday. In the outfield, he's been solid. And here's Brian McCann, who walked first time.
Hitters not hitting well with runners in scoring position against Livan this year. 206 RISP against Livan.
Yeah, those are un-McCann-like numbers we saw, hitting a .185 in a situation like this with 2 outs. Jim Riggleman, it's Wired Wednesday. He'll join us in the next half inning. Desmond, Livan, and Morgan will be the hitters.
We'll ask him about Steven Strasburg next inning. The bottom half.
What's left to ask? Well, there were reporters in the Nationals clubhouse today that none of us had ever seen before. Maybe they're medical reporters. Niger Morgan has it. Ian Desmond leads off, bottom of the 3rd, and the skipper coming up. been always kind enough to join us from the dugout. Jim, thanks for your time, first of all.
Okay, Rob.
And your take on the base running play back in the first inning, what would you have liked to have seen happen there?
Well, you know, when we talk about defense in that play, we like to have the guy with the ball in his hand run the runner back a little further, just run him all the way back and let the receiving guy stay back, and then he's got a better angle to throw it home from if he can't tag the runner out before the third out can be made. But you know, we didn't do that bad a job of it. We could have done a little further running him back to first, but the big guy there, Hayward, left at the perfect time and made it a tough play for Adam.
I wanted to ask you about Steven Strasburg. I heard your pregame interview with Charlie, and you talked about you still haven't penciled in for his next start. I mean, even if he doesn't make his next start, is there a chance he'll come back in the next couple of weeks? Yeah. I mean, you know, it's got to be a little tough for us to pitch him in this next start because he's got to throw in the outfield, and he's got to throw a bullpen session. So, you know, we certainly feel like that. If we don't make him on this next start, we could skip him on through to the next one, pushing back to the LA or the Arizona series that follows. Were you a little annoyed that he did not tell you a couple of days ago that he felt some tenderness? Well, I haven't. That's the first time I'm hearing of that now. Even I mean, I didn't know he felt anything a couple of days ago. If he did, I'm just now knowing that for the first time. You saying that because. He told yesterday, Steve McCaddy, that throwing in the outfield there before the game was the first time he was feeling anything remotely tender. And when he threw in the bullpen, he just couldn't get it loose.
Jim Riggleman joining us live on Wired Wednesday, presented by Verizon Wireless. Ivan Hernandez in there. Can we ask if you put the sacrifice on here, Skipper?
Well, yeah, we did, and he's liable to take off running now. And if he does, Levo's going to pull the bat back. But
okay.
I think at this point he's just going to stay there and do this. So we'll take this here.
Yeah, that's a good bunt.
Hey, before we let you go, Skip, Debbie Taylor was saying that's what Steven had said in his little get-together there before the game, so you may not have seen that.
No, I didn't see that.
I wasn't trying to drop.
No, I appreciate you saying me that. Because
no, he just said he felt something when he was throwing on the side, you know. But it's
yeah.
What this is common inflammation for a young guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if this was, you know. Smoltz and all those guys, they would have known that, you know, I can pitch through this, I'll be fine. But I'm really glad that he did speak up in the bullpen and say something. I wish he'd have said something a couple days earlier if it was there earlier, but at least he didn't go out there and try to pitch through it. We don't want him to do that.
Desmond at second, one out. Levon has sacrificed. For the 107th time in his career, a shot to right center, and stopping at third is Desmond. He had to make sure Jason Hayward was not going to catch that ball. Jim, we'll let you go. You've got things to do and try to get a run or two on the board here. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Skip.
Really good at bat, well hit ball by Niger Morgan. And he hit it close enough to Hayward that Desmond really did have to be careful there. You can't get doubled up to end the inning there.
No, that's a great point, Bob. I mean, he hits this ball very well. I mean, it's a pitch that's supposed to be down and away. It stays in, right in the sweet spot for Niger. He just drops the head of the bat, and Desmond's at third. You got first and third. Going to be tough to double up a Niger Morgan right here and Adam Kennedy, so even if a ball is hit on the ground, it should get a run in.
And the Braves are back at double play depth early in the ball game. They have a 2-run lead. Kennedy with a base hit. Almost on the same angle out there that Morgan's just followed. So the Nationals have 3 hits, 2 of them in this inning.
I think the biggest thing to remember with Strasburg, too, is this is just a young communication thing where he needs to just communicate that to maybe Lee Kuntz or to Steve McKay. Listen, I just didn't feel great after that outing because maybe he's not on an Advil or any ibuprofen or any kind of anti-inflammatory medicine. Maybe they could have put him on 2 days ago, and it could have kicked in for yesterday.
Kennedy takes a strike.
Everything at this level is about communication, and it's a learning process. And it's kind of like, you know, if you just started dating somebody, learning your mate, you know, and it's a little bit of Steven Strasburg has to be a little bit more honest with the people that need to know, and vice versa. You know, then they'll be able to watch him a little closely, or a little bit more closely.
Kennedy chops one to first. He's going to have to hustle, and that's going to end the inning. A 3-6-3 double play, and the Nationals do not score in the third. But he settled down nicely. Martin Prado, his 44th multi-hit game of the year, and Jason Hayward in the middle of it. His double really got that first inning going for them.
Yeah, they've been a little bit of a nuisance so far in this ball game, where Prado has just gotten on a couple of times, and then with Prado scoring, McCann starts a double steal, and it works to perfection with Hayward able to come in and score. So hopefully the next time we see that, we defend it a little bit differently. But we'll chalk up that one inning for the Braves, and now good old Levon has settled down.
That was their first steal of home since Rafael Furcal against the Giants 10 years ago, April 29th of 2000. Reaching for that outside pitch is Hinsky. One more element to that play before we put a lid on it. Another reason you want your shortstop to hold on to the ball longer is that shortstops generally have much better arms than first basemen. So if that runner makes his break while Desmond's running his guy back to the bag, he can wheel to his right and probably gun that guy out with not much of a problem.
Well, and remember, Adam Dunn's now going towards left field and second base.
Yeah, that's what Jim Riggleman said.
So he's got to look peripherally at Hayward, and it's a little bit more difficult to play. We're just trying to say that, listen, Ian, you got the best arm. You've got the ball. If you think you can get the play and tag the guy out, do it. If not, chuck it home. Or at least run towards home and towards the middle of the field so that that guy stays at third. We want to keep the run at third.
That play a little bit like a rookie quarterback who got rid of the ball just a little bit too quickly. Just to draw a little parallel with the season coming up. And here's Hinsky, Gloss, and Gonzalez to follow. And the 0-2 pitch, top of the fourth inning. Well, you just hope the rookie shortstop or any rookie learns from that and never does it again. By the way, the Mets followed up that first inning when they gave up 6 by scoring 2 of their own. So there's some offense going on in the National League tonight. Levon had Hinsky reaching, and a fly ball right to Willie Harris. Fourth inning underway. Levon Hernandez is now retired, 9 of the last 10 Braves.
Bob, I really liked some of these improvements too, and this just shows that the Nationals are going in the right direction. You see the improvement in wins, run differential, bullpen, errors really still needs to be improved, but it's a much better, more well-rounded team. So it's just some good stuff that this team's been doing this year. You know, you just want to keep moving forward in a positive direction.
Nationals were in Milwaukee when they played their 100th game of the year last year. And looking at the scorebook from that time, man, there were some ugly numbers going on. Here's a number for you that I completely forgot. At this time a year ago, Niger Morgan had 11 outfield assists. 11.
Wow.
What's going on with that? Everybody was running on him, and he kept throwing them out. Of course, a lot of that was with the Pirates. Now that's a hanging breaking ball, and Troy Gloss didn't miss it. That's a deep single. And Niger flashes a little arm right there, hits the cutoff man perfectly, and the Braves have 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 4th.
And that's not the worst thing right there with Troy Gloss. It's off the end of the bat, and he's a big power guy, so it's to have him get a little flare in the left center field is not the worst thing by Gloss.
Braves Nats, Nationals Park. 2-0 Atlanta. Bob Carpenter, Rob Dibble, Debbie Taylor. It's interesting. Looking at the lineup from game number 100 last year. Morgan, Guzman, Zimmerman, Dunn, Willingham, Harris, Gonzalez, Nieves, Ballister. Now listen to the lineup for game number 101, Rob, last year. Morgan, Guzman, Willingham, Zimmerman, Johnson, Belliard, Kearns, Bard, Mock. There's been a real makeover around here, hasn't there?
Yes.
Alex Gonzalez struck out swinging first time up.
Well, I couldn't get who they were scouting tonight, but the Yankees are here scouting our club.
Rob Dibble was doing some investigative journalism in the media dining room tonight.
There's an old minor league teammate of mine. Preston, and I'm sworn to secrecy.
I'm not sure who Atlanta would be partying with, so odds are he is scouting the Nationals.
Oh no, he told me he was scouting the Nationals, but he wouldn't tell me who they were. So we got our eye on a few of your guys.
Debbie Taylor reports a Red Scout. Look at the schedule and see if the Braves are about to play them. Yeah, the Braves go to Cincinnati from here, so that would qualify as advanced scouting. Two balls and 2 strikes. Missed it earlier. Joey Votto of the Reds hit his 26th today, and they put 10 on the board at Milwaukee to take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. 10-2 that final. They got 5 in the 6th and 5 in the 8th to break open a 2-0 Milwaukee lead behind Chris Narveson. Brandon Phillips also homered. Runner going on a slow pitch. Troy Gloss did not have much of a jump. That was a straight hit and run type situation.
That was a good pitch to go on, though. Keep him out of the double play and get the big man Gloss moving those legs.
Has not attempted a steal this year.
Those are 2 big boys over at first base.
3-2 with 1 out again. This time the runner holds. Rob, what's your reaction to the news that Derek Lee turned down a trade to the Angels from the Cubs?
Second time. I mean, he's already said he does not want to go out and play for the Angels. I don't know why he's turning that down, but they can't even get the process started without his permission.
3-2 again, and Troy Gloss gets to retreat. Let's have a look at some of the notes from around the league. Cubbies looking to do some selling. He's a 10-5 guy, 10 years in the big leagues, 5 with 1 ball club, the Cubs. Chris Coughlin, another player injured in a walk-off celebration, landed funny when he pied Wes Helms over the weekend. And the Kansas City Royals lost 6-4 today, and that was almost a good ball game for their pitching staff. The way things were going, that was at home against Minnesota.
Well, the truck just said that they saw on the trade wire that Johnny Peralta of the Cleveland Indians is now moving to Detroit with the Tigers.
Runner going again. This ball is fair. Pretty well hit. Niger Morgan about 380 feet away for the second out.
Well, they definitely need a third baseman with Brandon Inge being out, or a second baseman with Carlos Guillen being out. And the biggest problem is Magli Ordonez is bad as out for 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 8 weeks with a fractured ankle. I don't think the Tigers are done, though.
Well, they're still only 4 games out. First place team, the White Sox, in that division. They're only 11 games over 500. It's not like anybody's running away with it. Minnesota, now they're back on track. They won their 5th in a row today, as I mentioned, at Kansas City, winning 6-4.
Kansas City really didn't put up a big fight over that last 3 games.
That was in their ballpark. That's a little demoralizing. Levon against Melky Cabrera, who's quickly in the hole 0-2. Melky grounded out to Adam Kennedy first time up.
Now, wasn't it another first baseman from the Rangers back in the day? Rafael Palmeiro said he did not want to go to the Cubs. So now you have a Cubs first baseman that says, I don't want to go to the Angels. So Jim Hendry's trying to do a few things. And Derek Lee saying, no, I want to stay here.
Swing and a miss on a fastball up. Levon now pitching very well. Zimmerman, Dunn, and Bernardina. 3-4-5 in the bottom of the 4th. Levon has really gathered his forces well, continues to pitch well, getting a lot of outs and keeping opponents down, even good hitting ball clubs like Cincinnati and Atlanta.
Well, and he has to, because Tim Hudson is just on his game tonight. Might be very difficult to even scratch out a couple of runs against Huddy. So the basic thing here is you give up too early, he settled down quickly, and now he's really manipulating the plate inside and out. And the one thing that we saw even in Cincinnati is he works ahead so well.
Right.
And once he gets that first strike, even if he throws 85 miles an hour, he can put you away. And so we talk about that often, and Jim Riggleman's even said it. We don't have a lot of guys other than Steven Strasburg that are put you away type pitchers, meaning strikeouts, and once they get 2 strikes, they can just get you out of there. And so Levon doing another great job tonight when he does get to 2 strikes, getting some bad swings by the Atlanta Braves offense.
Levon, couple of long innings to begin with, though. 71 pitches, 47 strikes. Here's Zimmerman, bottom of the fourth. Is underway, and it's 1-1. Ryan, a little chopper over by the bag first time, and Chipper Jones threw him out. That's a great fastball up in the zone, outer half.
With some really good late breaking movement on it. I mean, Zim, he's leaning out over the plate going, okay, I might be, and then all of a sudden it breaks back over the plate. Look at the total pitch count. 34 for Hudson to this point and 71 for Levon.
Zimmerman rams this one to center. That ball changed directions on Melky Cabrera, who is about to turn toward the right center field gap. And then the ball had some knuckling or hook action on it, and he had to go the other way.
And well played by Melky. That ball was well struck and just crushed.
I'll tell you, when he hits the ball up the middle, that's when he hits it its hardest. And Melky Cabrera had to make an adjustment right there. Here's Adam Dunn. Bounced out into the right field side of the shift first time to Alex Gonzalez.
There's that late breaking, two-seam sinking fastball going away from Adam Dunn, and just enough velocity. I mean, it's 91 miles an hour to where it makes it difficult for Adam Dunn to get a good piece of this pitch. Now watch UPS store here on the pitch track right there. I mean, look at the tail. I mean, he's not throwing 98. It's around 91 miles an hour, and it's the break, it's the movement we talk about. That's better.
Adam Dunn pops it up left side. Chipper Jones with Hinsky right behind him, who will make the call, and 2 quick outs for Hudson here in the 4th inning. Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Miller Lite Party Night at Nationals Park. Get a Scoreboard Pavilion seat drink voucher for $20, $22 for premium games. Make sure to come early for the pregame happy hour at the Miller Lite Scoreboard Walk Bar, featuring $5 beers.
Well, Bob, this might be our best chance to get Hudson. First inning, 162 batting average against. Second, 171. Third, 167. 316 in the 4th. Then it goes down to 203 in the 5th.
Problem is, there's 2 outs already in the 4th. That 316, where's it going to come from? Here's
this 2-out rally.
Yeah, here's Bernardino. Well, if he gets a hit here, it would be 333 for the 4th.
He just gets on a roll, and it's strike after strike after strike.
And it looks effortless. And we're not talking about a big man here.
No.
I think pound for pound, Tim Hudson and Roy Oswalt might be the 2 most powerful pitchers I've ever seen. Guys that aren't that big and just bring it.
And how about their closer, Billy Wagner?
Yeah, he's not a big man.
Yeah.
But you tend to notice it a little more, Rob, with starters, because they're out there pitch after pitch. And, this guy can go 100, 120 pitches, no problem.
There's the great balance point right there. He hangs on it a little bit. Now he comes through, drives off that back leg, gets over this front leg perfectly, and just some wonderful mechanics.
Yeah, and then live action to strikeout. That is poetry in motion for Tim Hudson. Nats go quietly, and this game is into the 5th inning. we've seen him for the last couple of years.
Hey, it looks like he's shedding a few LBs right there.
Yeah, I think so. Still got a little in the midsection going. But look at the closing ability of George.
Now, see, Teddy's got to run him towards the wall. He's got to box him out. He let him come around the side there, Bob, and GW just took it the rest of the way. Stella Artois. Nice.
Here's Tim Hudson. Bounced out to Desmond at short, first time up, 5th inning underway. Levon, 72nd pitch of the night. And as Rob mentioned, there's a disparity. Hudson's thrown 43 pitches in his 4. But it took Levon 27 to get through that first inning.
And Hudson, like Levon, there's a disparity by 30 pitches. Hudson's a pretty good hitter.
182 career hitter with a homer, 26 RBIs. 12 hits this year.
Came in hitting 261 on the season.
Braves always have had good pitchers who are good athletes. Hansen 5 hits, Lowe 4, Medlin 4. Chris Medlin's a switch hitter. Niger Morgan tracking that one. Levon continues to be very efficient. 1 out, 5th inning. Let's fire up the smartphone, check out some AT&T trivia. The 2 remaining Nationals that were drafted by the Expos.
Ian Desmond is 1.
That's a good one.
That's a good question.
Something's telling me the other one's a pitcher.
Somewhere down on the farm. Current roster.
I'm thinking it might be young Mr. Ballister. I'll go with Colin Ballister as the other. Top of the order, Martin Prado already has his multi-hit game for the night. Single and a run in the first, base hit in the third. He has been a real find for the Braves. He's answered the leadoff hitter question. Looked like Kelly Johnson a couple of years ago was going to be their second baseman for quite a while and their leadoff guy. And he was another example of how if you do not produce in Atlanta, you go play elsewhere. That ball's really hit well to left center. And Martin Prado is 3 for 3. It'll hit right at the outfield end of the bullpen, the center field end of the bullpen. And Prado, who has 13 homers and 3 triples, now has 29 doubles. So that's 45 extra base hits. He's number 3 in the league, Rob, in total bases as a leadoff guy.
Well, I think that down and away is not working against Prado, and you might want to run one up near that tomahawk on his chest next time because he's just leaning. Did you see how far he was leaning out over the plate? He's basically tomahawking that outside pitch into the left center field gap, and Doug Slayton getting hot.
There's Jason Hayward, 1 for 2 with a double. 1 out here in the 5th. Levon's given up just 3 hits since the first inning. 2 of them to Prado.
He's been all in Jason Hayward's kitchen after that first double to start off the game. For him, his first at bat. Nice swing back fastball there on the inside corner. First pitch was kind of dead central. This one he's trying to wrap around the inner edge pretty tight.
Right on the glove, but the mitt was just outside the box. Big hitter here, 6'5", 240. They list him. That one well off the plate inside. 2-1.
And I like what you talk about, Bob. You talk about how the pitch track is different for each guy as far as that box goes.
We do make adjustments based on the size of the hitter. Daylight play, and that was a real good throw right to the bag. There was not much daylight, and Levon put that ball right down where Desmond could make a tag.
Well, once again, fundamentals. Swing quick. You see the open play, and once the shortstop shows his leather glove and breaks towards the bag, that's when you have to spin and throw it.
Up and in, 3-1. Chipper Jones 0 for 1, sac fly tonight, 40 RBIs. Levon never did throw one out over the plate. 2 on 1 out. I'm not sure they found this funny in Iowa, but Miguel Batista had a quote after the ball game last night with people expecting to see Strasburg, but getting Batista, comparing Steven to Miss Universe and himself to Miss Iowa.
So if you imagine you go there to see Miss Universe and you end up having Miss Iowa.
You know what?
And he's a kidder.
Maybe
so
Miss Iowa needs to throw out the first pitch here sometime soon.
I like it, though.
Well, you pitch like he can. In a game like that last night, you can make a joke. Prado will score easily here. On a base hit by Chipper Jones, who has his second RBI of the night. And the Braves lead 3-0. There you go. Tim Hudson has his 3-run lead. And in his career, he's been unhittable with that many runs in a ball game, or rather unbeatable.
Levon knows that he doesn't sink this ball enough. He just runs it, and it seems to stay flat. Willie Harris comes in, makes a valiant try, but Prado, who had an excellent secondary lead, scores easily, and that kid's quite a player, that Martin Prado.
He read that ball beautifully.
Yeah.
This is the manager to the mound. Doug Slayton has been warming up, and evidently the call's already been made. And Levon, after pitching a complete game, is only going to get 13 outs in his next outing against Atlanta. Celebrate the world we share. Well, a pretty night here at the ballpark. Quite warm out there. 91 at game time. And the Braves are threatening to bust this game wide open, as if they haven't already, with Tim Hudson pitching. A 3-0 lead, 2 men aboard, and Doug Slayton comes in to replace Levon Hernandez because the next 2 batters are lefties, McCann and Hinsky.
Well, Bob, I think this is not so much that Levon couldn't be left in there for a few more innings. I think this has everything to do with Jim Riggleman recognizing Tim Hudson on the hill tonight, and we might have trouble scoring a lot of runs off of that man.
Tyler Clippard for Troy Gloss down the line maybe. Nobody out. Actually, one out in the inning. The pitcher, Hudson, flied out to Morgan starting the inning. But no position players have been retired here in the 5th. McCann a walk and a fly ball to center. Brian McCann, 11 double play balls this year, eclipsed only by Troy Gloss with 11. A night of offense in the NL East. Marlins are getting hammered 7-2 at San Francisco, and the Mets are getting hammered at home by St. Louis 6-2. There is some pitching taking place in Philly. 2-0. Roy Halladay has a 5th inning lead over the hard-hitting Diamondbacks, who the Nats will see for the first time next week.
By the way, another guy that's thrown his name into the trade rumors is Brett Myers. 21 times this year, including last night, Bob. Brett has gone 6 innings or more. Actually took over 3rd spot all time on the Astros list, ahead of Oswalt.
Strike call.
Pretty good bargain for a little bit over $3 million.
And Houston not going anywhere.
Option year next year for 5. So Brett Myers coming off that labrum surgery last year. Doing a nice job down there. 8-6 on that Astros team. Not too shabby.
Yeah, ball club that has had one of the worst records in the league all season long, along with Pittsburgh. Hitting the ball pretty well the other way, McCann. Willie Harris, I think Willie was battling the lights on that ball. And that'll be the second out here in the 5th. Hinsky coming up. 2 guys still with the Nationals that were drafted by Montreal. Rob had Ian Desmond. I had Colin Ballister. (2004). He in the minor leagues for 6 years. And it looks like now that Matt Diaz has been announced as the pinch hitter, Jim Riggleman will go out and make a double switch. Michael Morris is heading for right field. Roger Bernardina is done for the night. And so the new Nats pitcher, Tyler Clippard, will bat in the number 5 spot. A lot of wheels turning in the middle of the ball game. Folks trying to stay a little cool with some treats on a hot Wednesday night here as we get toward the end of July. Dog days of August right around the corner, but we've had some here. And Michael Morris will be into the ball game, batting 9th, playing right field on the double switch. Batting 5th and pitching will be Tyler Clippard, who's finding himself in ball games earlier this time of the year than he usually does.
Tyler Clippard finishing his warm-up pitches.
So the Braves go with Matt Diaz here for Hinske. Diaz at .252, 4 homers, 17 RBIs. He's played in 45 ball games. Diaz, May 15th, injured his right thumb, had an infection, surgery 5 days later, missed 42 ball games. Into right. Come into the ball game. It'll find you, won't it? Michael Morse makes the play. The Nats are out of the inning. Braves score another run, leave 2, and they lead 3-0. Yes, Harris and Desmond for the Nats. Matinee tomorrow. Derek Lowe, 10-8. Scott Olson, 2-2. Derek Lowe, 4.48. Scott Olson, 3.77. The ERAs. And the Braves are 1-5 in Derek Lowe's last 6 starts. And Scott Olson against the Braves did not allow a hit into the 8th inning. We'll get you going at noon. Nats Extra. Johnny and Ray right here at the ballpark. Should be a little warm tomorrow.
A little sizzler.
It'll be a sizzler, yeah.
That's my wife's favorite line from you, by the way. It's a sizzler.
We'll bring some eggs and put them on the sidewalk and have a little brunch. Here's Pudge. Tim Hudson, 4 innings, 3 hits, 4 strikeouts. Hasn't walked anybody. Has a double play ball that kept the Nats off the board in the 3rd. That was the biggest at bat of the night when he got Adam Kennedy on a 3-6-3. Now the Braves, after giving up nothing, have added a run. And finally, Pudge Rodriguez has himself an extra base hit. Coming into that at bat, Pudge was 2 for 35. Good to see him standing on second base. It's been a while.
Wondering where have you been for a while, Pudge? But that happens in the major leagues. He gets all into that inside pitch. Just kills Tim Hudson. There you see the damage over the years.
Those guys are all really good hitters. And Hudson's nemesis they are. Hollywood Casino, Charlestown races. Action-packed table games, red-hot slots await. Charlestown races, West Virginia. Here's Willie Harris. Struck out swinging first time. To Willie, was driven in 20 on the year. Harris coming into this game 9 for his last 28, and those are his numbers for the month of July. That's 9 of his total of 26 hits the entire season. So Willie is swinging the bat better. But when you're a part-time player and you've had a nightmare for 3 months getting hits, it takes forever to get off that interstate and above 200. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Desmond with a base hit first time, waiting. Up and away fastball. Runner scoring position, nobody out. Time for the Nats to get on the board before it gets too late against this outstanding right-hander. Willie Harris on a pitch up and away, not getting to it. That'll be strikeout number 5 for Tim Hudson facing Ian Desmond.
Ian Desmond last night playing some great D, Bob, behind Miguel Batista, and then a huge single that played a couple of runs, and then a little bit later in the ball game starting a double play all by himself, showing off that great arm.
Yeah, he got that big 2-run single in the second after the Chipper Jones throwing error on the fielder's choice. As it turned out, that's all the runs Batista and the pen would need. Inside to Desmond. So Ian in this series now has 3 hits and 4 at-bats. And his batting average climbing again. He's back up to 253.
Couldn't get it out quick enough, hitting 364 on the first pitch.
Well, I would assume 90% of those pitches were strikes that he hit. And Hudson missing with a fastball, then a breaking pitch, goes 2-0. And a reminder, the pitcher is not on deck. It's big Michael Morse who's swinging the bat really well. Coming off a great weekend in Milwaukee. And a solid road trip. Desmond up the middle on a 2-0 pitch. Alex Gonzalez, 2 outs. Michael Morse came alive, Debbie. He's been very steady and consistent for the Nats this year.
He really has, and he's definitely taken advantage of his playing time. And tomorrow we will be covering the bases with Michael Morse. We'll hear what advice he got from Cal Ripken Jr. and also A-Rod, how he treated him to a dinner when he first signed. And also you'll hear why his bats are actually locked up. They're in lock and key in a humidor. All that and a whole lot more tomorrow when we cover the bases with Michael Morse,
who as a youngster at Nova, Florida High School in Davie, Florida, was a hot shortstop prospect as rated by Baseball America. And they know they're amateur players, those guys. So here's Michael. Chance for a 2-out RBI. In that Milwaukee series, Morse was just outstanding. He was 5 out of 9, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, and look at him again. Another RBI for Michael Morse, and the Nats are on the board. And this time the big guy goes softly the other way.
All he does is hit, Bob.
What does this guy have to do, Rob, to get into the lineup more than twice a week?
I don't know. But this is a great swing on a great pitch. It's a sinker down and in. It jams the heck out of him. But the big, strong Michael Morse, and we showed this last night. There you see the fractured bat. Very similar to his first major league hit.
Top of the order, Niger Morgan. Solid base hit to right center last time. Now he has another one up the middle.
Sweet.
And the Nats have 3 hits in the inning against Tim Hudson. Morgan attacking early in the count, and it'll be up to Adam Kennedy.
Don't really want to fall behind this gentleman, so the sinker comes a little bit too close for comfort. Right down the middle, Niger smacks it right back into center for a 2-out single. This puts Michael Morse in position to score.
Adam Kennedy 1 for 2. Costly double play ball last time. First and third, 1 out, ending that inning. On a chopper to Troy Gloss, who right now will play behind Niger Morgan. And with them playing behind Morgan and him getting a big lead at first, things could get interesting on a base hit. Adam has driven in 17 runs on the year. Target away. It's over, but low, ball 1. Desmond had a count of 2-0 and swung, hitting a ground ball to the shortstop. This may be a situation where Kennedy wants to be aggressive but intelligent about it.
Well, come out of your shoes. I mean, this is a pitch where you're trying to hit a home run. So you have the upper hand as the hitter.
He does go for it. Bad break for the Nats. Hudson knocks it down. That ball was labeled for center field with an RBI attached to it. And Tim Hudson gets in front of it with his leg. And the Nats are held to 1. Went to the bullpen. Hayward's had a good night on base twice, a run scored. Martin Prado, 3 hits, showing why he's been the league's leading hitter most of the year. Came in number 2 tonight at 316, 2 singles and the double. And then Hayward, that double that opened things up, and then the strikeout play the Nats were hoping was a strike him out, throw him out. But when Desmond unloaded too early, Adam Dunn was too late. And scoring was Hayward on the double steal. That gave the Braves a 2-0 lead. They led 3-0 when Chipper knocked in a run in the 5th. The Nats on the board on a Michael Morse RBI. And here we are at top 6. Troy Gloss for Atlanta. Gloss tonight 1 for 2. Base hit to left center after grounding out to Zimmerman. Bobby Cox has his ball club 15 games over 500, 3.5 ahead of the surging Phillies, who've won 6 in a row, and tonight lead at home against Arizona behind Roy Halladay, 2-0, 6th inning. Their box score will show lots of action from the numbers 1 and 2 hitters, and then Chipper with an RBI, actually 2. He had a sac fly back in the first. So when the top of the order is getting on base, it doesn't matter a lot what the rest of the guys, especially the bottom, are doing. Loss, a swing and a foul tip. Pudge holds on, and Tyler Clifford retires, his second straight hitter. Clifford is due to bat third in the bottom of the sixth, so he can let it all out here. Try to keep this a 3-1 game. He's got a good fastball, no doubt about it.
Work ahead, put him away with the high heat, and he's got a very good rising fastball, one of the best.
Here's Alex Gonzalez, 0 for 2. Went up and took a home run hack. He hit 17 of them for Toronto in 85 ball games before that trade for Yunel Escobar. Gonzalez coming alive with the bat this season. .248 career hitter. He hit 11 points higher than that in Toronto, and hitting over .300 for the Braves coming in. Only his 12th game with Atlanta. The trade was 2 weeks ago today. He is signed for this year with an option for 2011. Clifford got right in on his hands. You know, somebody asked me today about Batista. I said, why did he pitch so well last night? And the thought came to me, when is he ever in a game that's tied? It was nothing when he started the game. I mean, he's always pitching when the Nats might be 3-4 runs behind, or in some cases way ahead. Clifford now 3 in a row, 2 on strikes. Cheer on the Nats and against the Phillies Friday night, 7:05. Miller Lite Party Night featuring live music, games, $5 drinks at the Miller Lite Scoreboard Walk Bar until first pitch. Make sure you stick around after the game. Friday night fireworks. So Miguel Batista, in a very meaningful situation, did a big job for the Nationals last night. Here's Melky Cabrera, who's 0 for 2.
Give Jim Riggleman some credit of managing tonight and knowing the situation with Tim Hudson and Livan Hernandez. Could not afford to give up more runs last inning. Had to pull him early, and now you're just 2 runs down instead of maybe the game getting blown wide open.
On our Masson video blog I did with the skipper today, he told me that after he told Batista he was starting, he said he went over to see Bobby Cox and said, look, here's what happened. Here's why we've had to make the change. This game might be a few minutes late getting underway, just to let Bobby know so Atlanta wasn't sitting around wondering what was going on as well, because they knew Batista would take a little while to get ready for a start. And obviously he was ready, but you know, Jim said there's a professional courtesy thing in certain situations that takes place between managers, even when you're trying to beat each other, where you make sure the other guy knows what the situation is.
Well, and so that Tommy Hanson doesn't get warmed up thinking the game's going off on time.
Right.
He can maybe push his warm-up back 5 minutes, and it's a very classy move by Jim Riggleman, and I'm sure it was appreciated by Bobby Cox, who I'm sure would have done the same thing given the situation. I didn't get to hear the whole conversation Charlie Slows and Dave Jagler were just having, but someone had asked Charlie, how often does a guy get scratched from the start? He said he was getting out of his car last night after the ball game listening to a West Coast game, and it just happened in that ball game.
Joel Pinheiro.
Yes, so it does happen a lot. I think it's just because it's Steven Strasburg, and he's a little bit more under the microscope or in the fishbowl, so to speak, that a lot of people are wondering, hey, how often does that happen? Well, it happens when, like what yesterday happened, he could not get loose. You now have so many different things on record as knowing that sometimes that can lead to a very bad injury, and it's much better to take precautions instead of trying to send a guy out there. Where 30, 40 years ago, guys literally didn't want to come out of the rotation for fear of losing their jobs. You know, but now you just have so much invested in these young kids. It was just better that Mike Rizzo pulled the plug immediately. Because even Jim Riggleman admitted that, yeah, I could have sent him out there. He might have gotten loose by the second inning, but you know, why push him? I mean, you're already pushing the kid. You're going to push him to 160, 170 innings this season, where in college, leading up to this point, same time last year, was 110 innings.
Well, and if a guy can't get loose in weather like this,
yeah,
there's a problem.
Yep.
Because this is get loose weather, as you talked about in Cincinnati last week. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Melky Cabrera. Pretty good battle here. And Clippard will lose the battle. Melky Cabrera extending that at bat and getting Tim Hudson to the plate here in the 6th inning. First walk by Clippard.
Bob, for many people who missed this was 14 minutes before the game. He's trying to get loose, but obviously he's not throwing with any kind of urgency or any kind of real oomph. And Steve McCaddy is very concerned as he throws a couple of pitches, and the discussion takes place. At the same time, Lee Kuntz had already been informed by Mike Rizzo that the plug had been pulled.
And we did see at one point Pudge what appeared to be consoling Strasburg about, hey, you know, it's one game. It's not worth it. And, you know, maybe Steven needs to hear that from one of his peers, his catcher, rather than from the, you know, the higher ups.
Oh, absolutely.
Coach, manager, GM.
Coming from one of your teammates, it means to some extent a heck of a lot more, especially as much respect as he has for the future Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez. And for Pudge to say, listen, you're going to make 400, maybe 500 more starts in your career, hopefully. You know, you just got to let this one go tonight.
Clippard suddenly having location problems. He goes 2-0 on Tim Hudson. And if he's aware of the situation out there, he knows who's on deck and does not want to face Martin Prado here in the 6th inning, while this game has been tightened up by the Nats scoring that run in the 5th inning. He gets a high strike, 2-1. Everything's up suddenly.
Well, he's just a little bit too quick to the plate and flying open towards first base. He just needs to get a little quieter, pull that front shoulder in, maybe even throw a breaking ball right here. You have the pitcher up there.
Right at the letters. 3-2. We'll see if Adam Dunn moves behind Cabrera here, because you never know when a pitcher's going to get around late against a right-hander. For now, Adams hanging on the bag to keep Cabrera from getting away too soon. And Hudson strikes out. Clippard strikes out the side in the 6th. Big guns coming up. Zimmerman, Dunn, and then the pitcher spot. AFCEA.org, the Association for IT Pros. And here's Debbie with our AFCEA sideline report.
Well, Ryan Zimmerman told me that Chipper Jones was one of the players he enjoyed watching as a youngster. Well, it's the Mutual Admiration Society. Chipper Jones enjoys watching Ryan Zimmerman.
To have that amount of talent in one body, to be able to hit for power and average and steal bases and be able to dominate a game with his glove when he's on. He's a Gold Glover, by the way. So, all those things, I'm very happy for him. He's a good kid. He deserves it. He's worked hard to get here, and he's going to soon start reaping the benefits of all his hard work.
Chipper told me, too, that Ryan is such a sponge. He's always asking him questions, and he doesn't worry about giving the opposition some tips. He said, hey, after all, I'm at the end of my career. Bob?
Good guy to talk to. Chipper has been a model of consistency himself. Ryan Zimmerman thrown out by Chipper. First time up tonight. Then he lined out hard to center. Nobody's going to get that one. And Ryan Zimmerman has hit the ball sharply twice tonight. He's aboard for Adam Dunn, who suddenly represents the tying run.
Well, we talked about this before the game, you and I, Bob, about maybe Ryan pulling a few more balls that they throw on the inner half. H.H. Gregg, ex-Mo. A lot of teams have been working him on the inner half of the zone. So he takes that, looks like a sinker down and in, and slams it through the shortstop third base hole as Joel Peralta warms up.
Pinch hitter coming up next for Tyler Clippard. Dunn 0 for 2, ground ball and a fly ball, both to the left side. Guzman, but I also noticed that just a few feet behind Jim Riggleman, Alberto Gonzalez has a bat, doesn't have a helmet on, and there could be a switch about to take place here. Now, Guzman hasn't taken off his helmet yet. He did take the donut off his bat. But I think I know what the skipper's thinking here. Maybe a two-run homer to tie the game if it goes far enough, but it won't. And then Zimmerman back to first. I was thinking if they got two men on, Gonzalez is a superior bunter. But it looks like Alberto Gonzalez is going to bat anyway for Clippard, and he's going to save Guzman for later. So Adam Dunn puts a charge into one, comes up short on the box score here. Niger Morgan has a couple of hits. Roger Bernardina was in the number 5 spot. The pitcher is there now, but now it'll be Alberto Gonzalez hitting there. So when you look at all those names, looks like the Nats have a DH, but we did leave Bernardina in there because he did have a couple of at-bats. So Dunn flies out deep to left, and here's Alberto Gonzalez. Tyler Clippard, a scoreless inning and a third. 1 walk, struck out 3. Alberto Gonzalez as a pinch hitter this year, 6 for 26 with an RBI. Little chopper third base side. Chipper really got a good jump on that. Easy play, as it turns out. Zimmerman down to second with 2 down. And by the way, Adam Dunn, 0 for 3 tonight, is now 10 for his last 47. So some of the bats are pretty quiet.
Well, Alberto Gonzalez right there gets jammed. Chipper Jones doesn't even look at second base again, takes the sure out to get 2 outs in the inning. And well, I'm sure that weighing heavily on Adam Dunn right now is whether or not he's staying or whether or not he's being traded. And I know the White Sox tonight told Gordon Beckham, Bob, that he's staying put in Chicago.
And reportedly that was a second baseman the Nationals had asked for, or at least were interested in. You know, one of the things that happens, Rob, this time of the year, all these sports services, call-in shows all over the country, so-called insiders and experts, everybody has an opinion on deals that should be made. And sometimes there's a little haze between what's fact and what's fiction and fantasy. And then the players have to hear about this stuff every day.
We talked about it last year with Nick Johnson, that things were being reported that were untrue. I would go right to Mike Rizzo and ask him if it was true, because I knew that, especially in Nick Johnson's case, it was affecting him a lot, and he ultimately was traded to the Marlins. But it's not right when you just speculate and then write a huge article about it, and it becomes a national item, especially when it's not even close to the truth. Some people are just fabricating stories to make stories up.
Yeah. Well, one good thing about the trading deadline, deals get made, and a lot of journalistic fantasy comes to an end.
Well, and I talk to a lot of general managers on my other job, and they say the same thing. They make phone calls to each other all the time. That doesn't mean they're proposing trades. They're asking the availability of certain people.
And certain teams, unbeknownst to players, fans, even people in their organization, they put guys on waivers to see what kind of interest there is out there, and then they can pull them back. But that's one of the things they do behind the scenes to judge the interest there might be regarding a player on your own team. Doesn't mean you want to get rid of him or you think badly of him, but you float a name out there, and then some ball clubs have leaks. Pudge with the bouncer. Chipper Jones, third base side. He can make the play with his glove, and the Nats are gone in the 6th inning after Zimmerman's leadoff hit. Your local Ford dealers. Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. And by H.H. Gregg. We make buying TVs and appliances simple. H.H. Gregg, price and advice guaranteed. Capital all lit up here in late July. Hot evening in our nation's capital. Still a ball game, 3-1, 3 innings to go. Nationals will go one step further into the bullpen. Rob, people may say, well, a guy might be traded, whatever. He's under contract. He should still be out there playing till the end of the year no matter what. But these guys aren't robots. It weighs on their minds when they hear about it every day.
Well, and a lot of guys, including, say, Adam Dunn, are very happy where they are. Mm-hmm. They're in their comfort zone here. Adam's got a young family. Just had a baby, and so there's a lot more involved here than just going out there and hitting the ball and catching the ball kind of stuff. You might have to uproot the family, so some of these people have just bought houses in the area, et cetera. So there's a lot more involved, and, Adam doesn't want to go to the American League and start DHing just yet, and he doesn't want to maybe change area code. So all that stuff involved goes into your daily preparation. The more you come to the ballpark and you have to address it,
Yeah.
You know, hey, did you hear this rumor? Did you hear that? And you're trying not to hear those rumors, and you definitely tell your family, don't tell me, I don't want to know.
Adam Dunn's 31 years of age, by the way, folks. A little early to become a career DH, don't you think? But of course, if he did get traded, doesn't mean he's going to be with that team next year either. Some guys have been traded away and then have a chance to come back to the original ball club the following year if a deal can be struck. So Peralta, as he usually does, comes out of the bullpen and retires the first batter, striking out Martin Prado.
Well, he comes right after you. You see 1 strike, 2 strike, and then the fork ball right there. You're not going to hit that 77-mile-an-hour fork piece. But it's all about getting ahead, Bob, and we've even heard Ryan Zimmerman talk about, well, you got to get ready when he throws that fork ball and he takes about 15 mile an hour off his fastball. Could come to you in a hurry.
Upstairs to Jason Hayward, who's doubled, stole home, grounded out to second, and walked. Good off-speed pitch. Really diving down and away from the left-handed batter.
Well, and a fork ball, that just shows you why it's so effective. For a left-handed hitter, you think it's a fastball, and it's jammed and wedged between your fingers, and as you release it, you get the backspin, and it just falls off the table away from him, if thrown correctly. Sometimes you hang that pitch, and you put it right on the middle part of their bat, and they could kill it.
Fastball up. Hayward, 11 homers, 48 RBIs. He sits safely now in 10 of his last 11 games. He'll finish his rookie year over 100 strikeouts. He's at 77 right now. But he's also walked 48 times, all 49 including tonight. So he has some selectivity as well.
So just like we talked about Storen's slider, this is basically, you don't even have to turn your hand. You've just separated your fingers. H.H. Gregg on the Exmo here. And as he's coming through, fastball, and he just pulls down hard. And as they talk about pulling down the shade, you get out as far as you can reach, pull down, and those fingers being separated on the ball, there's really no velocity behind it. And right here you see him, he'll reach out as far as he can go, pull down on it, and hope that he gets a downward movement because it's only about 80 miles an hour.
3-2 with 1 out here in the 7th. It's also the 7th in Philadelphia. Phillies just scored 3 runs and lead Arizona 5-0. Roy Halladay spinning a 4-hitter. Chipper on deck for the Braves here in the 7th. Marlins just got 5 in the 7th at San Francisco. But still trail 9-7. That's close. And ball 4 on Hayward, who walks for the 50th time this year. Saturday, Phillies, Nats, 7:05. First 15,000 fans receive a Niger Morgan bobblehead presented by PNC Bank. Come early. You can be a proud owner of the Nationals' second bobblehead giveaway of the season. One on, one out. Chipper Jones, 2 RBIs tonight with a sac fly and an opposite field base hit. Slow roller. Kennedy came forward before his throw. And then the relay's late. Adam had to charge that ball. Nats failed to turn the double play.
Still a nice job by Adam Kennedy right here to erase the lead runner and not allow Hayward to get in scoring position. So he goes back across his body. Nice flip over to Ian Desmond. Now watch Desmond. He stays at home like we like to say. He'll take a hit as Hayward tries to get him. And still delivers a nice throw over to first base, but it's just a hair late as Chipper Jones still has some pretty good wheels.
Everybody did their job.
Yep.
Kennedy got the lead runner. Desmond pivoted well, and Hayward tried to take him out.
And Chipper hustled down to first base.
Yes, he did. And Brian McCann picked up the bat and handed it to the bat boy. So everybody got it done. Go bat here with a runner at first, 2 outs. Yeah, the Marlins just got 5 in the 7th, but still trailed 9-7. I thought it's supposed to be hard to hit on the West Coast at that time of the evening, but evidently not at AT&T Park. St. Louis and the Mets have traded runs in the 6th. Cardinals 7, Mets 3 at Citi Field after St. Louis scored 6 in the top of the first. Carlos Beltran hit his first homer of the year in that game. His first homer comes on July 28th. I remember, Rob, when we were there in April, they thought he'd be back by the middle of May.
Yes, they did, and they said once he came back, and they've been struggling ever since. Jason Bay only has 6 home runs on the season. Around 260.
That's a lot of money for 6 home runs.
Well, he's got bone on bone. And, you know, who knows how many days in a row he can play on that. Has had all the cartilage removed from one of his knees.
Two-0 pitch off speed, popped up. Right back to have a look.
Things that Andre Dawson mentioned in his Hall of Fame speech was about the doctors and trainers that kept him on the field.
That was good.
That was good.
That was very nice. The Other Guys in theaters August 6th, starring Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, Jason Bay, 4 years, $66 million for the Mets. $16.5 million per year. That ball scorched into right field by McCann. Michael Morse covers it, gets it back in, stopping at second. Chipper Jones, 2 on, 2 out.
Pinheiro Bob out 6 to 8 weeks with a pulled oblique muscle.
And he was the pitcher we talked about, scratched moments before his start last night. It does happen elsewhere.
Scott Podsednik traded from the Royals to the Dodgers.
Wow.
So some people making some moves.
I've always liked that guy. Saw him when the Royals were here. He was leading off for them. Good speed, good outfielder, good base runner. Well, the Dodgers, they've won 3 in a row, but they're still 5 back of San Diego. I don't know what happened to the Rockies. They've lost 7 straight. They're hosting the Pirates tonight. And I thought Colorado in the second half was just going to take off. And on paper, appears to be the best team in that division.
Well, and we hope that Houston Street is okay. He was struck in the abdomen during batting practice and had to be rushed to the hospital. Also, Ben Sheets, out for the year, was supposed to be traded. That's one of the reasons Oakland paid him $10 million. And he's out with a torn flexor tendon.
Front door breaking ball for a strike to Matt Diaz.
That was one of the parts of Johnny Cueto's arm that was just put back together a year ago. Torn ligament and a torn flexor tendon, so it's part of the elbow region. Sometimes things pay off for you, and sometimes, in the case of Ben Sheets, not so much.
High in the air, left center. Niger Morgan, plenty of room in that gap. At the edge of the track, he'll take it. Time to stretch for a crowd of 24,263. 3-1 Braves. A statistic we probably don't talk enough about. How many guys he inherits on base, how many he stops from scoring.
And he is 5th best in the National League. Only 3 of 22 runs that he has inherited. That means guys that are on base when he enters a ball game have scored. And he has done a fantastic job. Was throwing some great sliders, fantastic fastballs, and he just mowed down the Atlanta Braves last night. There you go. This Haynes for you, buddy.
Bullpen, 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and Sean Burnett got a double play ball. Storing in between Burnett and Capps, outstanding last night.
You're too funny. Last year, Jesus Colome allowed every inherited runner to score.
He did not.
Kyle?
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I don't make this stuff up. They're statistical anomalies.
Wow. Willie Harris, Ian Desmond, Michael Morse. 7th inning for Hudson. And how about this? Through 6 innings, 69 pitches, 47 strikes. He is a definite candidate to pitch his 24th career complete game. 11 of those previous 23 are shutouts. Trying to go 10-1 career against this franchise. Willie Harris is gone. Willie Harris 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Hope you can join us tomorrow. If you're not here at the ballpark, 12:30, Scott Olson makes his return to the mound. Just as a refresher, he's 2-2 with a 3.77 ERA and 8 starts. And then there's Derek Lowe, 10-8, 21 starts. But Derek Lowe only 6-5 in his career against the Montreal-Washington franchise. 19 games, 13 starts. Nats have handled him a couple of times recent years. That was strikeout number 6, by the way, for Tim Hudson. And Willie Harris swinging 3 of those times. So here's Desmond. Ian has flared a single to left and bounced out to the shortstop. Good eye. That's a breaking ball that has victimized him lately. He lays off and the count's 2-1. Tim Hudson, 158 career wins, 83 losses. Leads all active pitchers in winning percentage who have at least 200 decisions. His career percentage, .656. And he's about to go 7 for the 13th time this year. Desmond with a 2-hopper out to Gonzalez. 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Next up will be Michael Morse. Tonight's copyrighted telecast presented by authority the Washington Nationals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Well, guess what? Michael Morse is 1 for 1 tonight with an RBI. Came into play right field on a double switch. I would just love to see him give some at-bats against right-handers.
That would be the song. Yes.
Oh, okay.
The group that he comes up to the plate. It's an 80s group that was a one-hit wonder.
So we heard a medley of their greatest hit?
Yes, you just did. Take on Me.
Oh, yeah. One ball, one strike to Michael Morse, who earlier tonight drove in his 17th run. Perfect pitch by Hudson. Unhittable and still a strike.
Still a strike.
So yeah, still a called strike. How does Michael get to this?
Well, he might need a boat oar.
Generous call by Bill Miller, but evidently Hudson has earned that here in the 7th inning.
Well, he tries to go a little farther out. This is only natural for a veteran pitcher. Just keep pushing that envelope a little bit more.
And it's amazing. This is his 6th year already with the Braves. He's been with Atlanta now as long as he was with Oakland. Look at that. If it's close, boys, you better be swinging. Tim Hudson's getting the corner and then some. 2 strikeouts in the 7th, 7 in the game. Into the 8th inning, Atlanta leads the Nats 3-1. Take him down to Woodsbridge to see the Potomac Nationals. Short drive down 95. Nats of the Future single-A ball on display, Fitzner Stadium. Affordable ticket plans still available, 703-590-2311. Join the party with the Potomac Nationals. Another inning for Joel Peralta. He faces Troy Gloss. Anything near that outside corner is a strike right now. Peralta trying to work a scoreless appearance for the 12th time in 14 appearances since coming to the Nats from Syracuse, where he was the closer. Getting under that one is Troy Gloss. Coming in for it, Willie Harris. Nationals pitching well enough to win the ball game tonight. But Tim Hudson, really good.
Atlanta 5-7 when they score exactly 3 runs. 50-13 when they score 4 or more.
Did anybody tell that statistician about Tim Hudson's record when he gets a 3-run lead, though? That's an amazing number that we dropped on you earlier tonight. In his career, 144-17 when he gets a 3-run lead.
I think he's trying to be optimistic.
Getting the mouth guard ready in case he hits in this inning. He's due up 4th.
That's a thumb guard.
Pardon me?
It's okay.
You would know that better than me.
We'll put that on his thumb. So if he gets jammed, he can still go out and pitch. Although we have seen somebody this year that does wear a mouth guard. I'm trying to think who that is. It's a pitcher. I'll think of that. It'll come to me.
I don't know if Miss Iowa comes after Miguel Batista. He may need to get one. This will be easy for Michael Morse out in right field. Alex Gonzalez 0 for 4. And Joel Peralta now trying to close out a scoreless second inning of work. He'll face Melky Cabrera here in front of Tim Hudson in the 8th.
By the way, Miss Iowa, Bob, has issued a challenge to Miguel Batista.
My point exactly.
Catherine Connors, Miss Iowa 2010, was not pleased about the comments made by Miguel Batista Tuesday night. She said, "I know I can throw a pitch or two," in a statement to the Des Moines Register. The question is, can Miguel Batista walk the runway in a swimsuit?
Well, we know he could play the sax for the talent.
We do. Yes, we know. The gauntlet's been laid down by Miss Iowa.
The saxophone?
Wow.
I had a feeling the word would get back to Iowa on that one. Well, you know, if you build it, he will come. Maybe he can go out and visit the Field of Dreams out there, which I think has fallen upon hard times and possibly even closed. Dyersburg, Iowa, I believe, is the town where the Field of Dreams has been.
Listen to the way Miguel scrambled here, though, to save face. The way I said it wasn't the way it was interpreted. What I meant was that the person you listen to is Miss Iowa. You go, oh, here you go. When you take a look at the woman, you go, hold on, she's from Iowa, but she is gorgeous.
He covered that well.
Yes, he did.
Melky Cabrera has a double. He's at second base with 2 outs here in the 8th. They have internet out there, too. And Tim Hudson will be the hitter. He's 0 for 3. Doesn't take long for the word to get around the country these days.
No. She went right to the swimsuit part of the pageant. She didn't even say walk down there in a gown. I don't know about the whole swimsuit.
I don't know, Rob. It's a disturbing visual.
It's totally disturbing. Although, get him a tiara. They already wear that Elvis wig.
Yeah.
Is Burt Park still alive?
No.
No? He's dead?
I think so. I know he doesn't do the pageant anymore.
I hope he is, because he's not going to be happy. He's not.
I don't know. Big breaking ball, a swing and a miss by Tim Hudson, and the count's 0-2.
You are correct. He passed in 1992.
Hey, when he used to sing "There She Is," Miss America coming down the runway. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was 77. By the way, it's Mike Pelfrey. There's the mouth guard.
Okay.
Producer Jordan Greenberg on our radio show should be in bed right now, but watching the Atlanta Braves versus the Nats.
One ball and 2 strikes to Tim Hudson. Peralta fires a fastball in there. Top of the 8th is over. Nationals still within the reach of this one. Top of the order coming up. Can they solve Tim Hudson? Peralta, really good 2 innings. It was a 27-pitch first inning. Martin Prado, 3 hits tonight, his 44th multi-hit game, but the story really Tim Hudson. 7 innings, 1 run, shutting down the Nats, Rob. 7 strikeouts, hasn't walked a batter.
You talked about this. 13th time this year he's gone 7 or more. 19 times 6 or more out of 21 starts. And just once you start looking for sinkers and sliders, there you see the backdoor sinker on Mike Morse. Then he starts going high. Struck Willie Harris and Nigel Morgan out on the high fastballs, but 7 strikeouts, 11 groundouts, 3 flyouts. He is just an equal opportunity dominating pitcher.
His last time out, he went 7 in an 8-0 win against San Diego. It took him 105 pitches. Tonight he goes 7 with 82 pitches. So he has 23 deliveries to play with. Compared to that, Takashi Saito, the right-hander, and Johnny Venters, the lefty.
And you notice they're not really in a hurry to get loose.
I don't think so.
They know. See, it's different. If it's a guy that you're panic-stricken, oh, I better get loose because he's in trouble, they would be just shoot, fire, hum, but they're just kind of relaxing and throwing nice.
1-2 to Nigel Morgan. 2 for 3 tonight. Morgan is 3 for 7 in the 2 ball games here. Batting average up over 260 now. Phillies now lead 7-0 against Arizona, so they're heading for their 7th consecutive win. Adam Kennedy on deck. Kennedy robbed of a hit last time that would have driven a run home when the ball hit Hudson in the leg on its way up the middle with 2 men aboard. Phillies' hottest team in the division right now. Mets are trailing tonight. Marlins are trailing out west. Nationals are behind. And you know, a lot of people are rooting for Bobby Cox to get his final team into the playoffs. Morgan bounces it. 1 hopper right at Troy Gloss. 1 out here in the 8th. If you're traveling, you can take the Nats with you. MLB.tv. Every Nationals game live or on demand on your computer. Go to Nationals.com to get more details. Order there. MLB.tv. Baseball everywhere. Adam Kennedy 1 for 3. Hudson just now throwing his 90th pitch of the game. Fouled out of play.
And you nailed it before, Bob, when you said he's nice and easy. He's got great mechanics, a great balance point, protects his arm quite nicely. And for a guy that weighs about 160 pounds, he generates so much torque. But it's as much location and movement as anything as far as him trying to get top-end velocity.
Kennedy got jammed and flies 1 out to center. Cabrera and Hayward. Melky Cabrera for the 2nd out.
Kyle hands me another statistic. Hudson has only thrown 88 pitches or less 3 times this season. So you can throw durability in there too.
77 at San Francisco early when he went 7. 88 at Milwaukee May 11th. 70 at Florida when he lasted only 4 innings. May 27th and an 8-3 win. Hasn't thrown fewer than 92 pitches since.
Now here's another look at the delivery. Look at the balance point right there. If you held it, perfect balance point. And then he comes through. The body's all together, opens that front hip, and then he lands on the ball of his foot, not the heel. And then he can get out over the front of that and then field his position quite nicely. We've talked a lot about that with some of our younger pitchers. It's throwing the ball, then fall. So you throw the ball towards the home plate, then you fall off towards first base. Hudson does a very nice job of that, delivering the ball before he starts that finish to the follow-through.
He goes 3-0 on Zimmerman.
As right as we say that, he's 3-0 on Zimmerman. Maybe we should start talking well about him. Remember that reverse psychology last night?
That's right. I don't think he's going to throw another ball out of the strike zone the whole game.
I don't think Zimmerman has a chance. He shouldn't even come up to the plate.
All right. You still got 2 pitches to work with, Billy.
It's a really bad day for Ryan. He shouldn't have got out of bed. There's Drew Storen and Matt Capps in case put a couple of runs up there quickly.
That's high. And the Nats get the tying run to the plate again in the person of Adam Dunn. Situation like this with nobody out 2 innings ago. Bobby Cox is going to the bullpen. Adam Dunn flied out. So that'll do it for Tim Hudson. He's done after 7 2/3. 1 walk will get him out of this game. He gives up 7 hits, strikes out 7. Got a big double play back in the 3rd inning. And a pat on the shoulder from his manager. And the Nats are into the Braves bullpen. There's some serious heat coming into this game. Dunn coming up. And after the game, Johnny and Ray on Verizon Fios Nets Extra. A look at a very short outing, relatively speaking, for Levon tonight. 1 pitch into the 5th inning. Clubhouse reaction, live sound from Jim Riggleman. Pitcher spot due up next. There's a hammer in the on-deck circle. And there's a 95-mile-an-hour sinker on the mound in Johnny Venters. This guy can bring it. This will be an interesting matchup. He fails to get ahead on a fastball up and in. As mentioned, Adam Dunn, 10 for his last 47. He had 1 hit in the Cincinnati series last week, a home run. Looks like Venters dropped a breaking ball in on him.
Little get-me-over slider.
Josh Willingham, 4. Peralta, if the inning continues.
And the reason that pitch is so effective, you're looking for 95 in on your hands, and then all of a sudden he goes about 87 away from it. slider right there.
Yeah, Adam guessing fastball, trying to react too quickly.
You got to think 90-plus mile-an-hour fastball here. You got to get the bat head out, and this is what he tries to do. Get the bat head out. Ooh.
Ball's not there.
Nope. Ball's going away.
1-2.
Stays live, gets a piece of that. Looks like a little sinker on the inner half. Venters is way on the third base side, though, almost like he's trying to throw a slider that's a foot outside. There you go. Thank you.
Doesn't bite on that one. 2-2. Florida just got 2 in the ninth at San Francisco to tie that game 9-9. Nats are down by 2 here in the 8th at home. Braves have out hit Washington 8-7. Adam Dunn 0 for 3. Up and in. Outfield playing deep. So it'll help to have Zimmerman on the run here on a 3-2 pitch. Adam Dunn on a soft pitch away, strikes out. 125th time this year. Adam Dunn goes down on strikes. Into the 9th inning, and the Braves still lead 3-1. And here's a pitch sequence on a big left-handed matchup, Rob.
Goes sinker in, breaking ball over for a strike. Another breaking ball away for a strike. Fouls it off, so now the fight starts with Adam Dunn. Takes a slider, takes a fastball up and in. Then he's going to swing on a very soft slider away. And lefty's hitting a paltry 185 off of him. Righty's even worse, 164. Venters just has his stuff working big time this year. 25 years old from Pikeville, Kentucky.
Top of the order, Martin Prado leads off the 9th for Atlanta.
He's not allowed a run here since the All-Star game. Hitters hitting 148 coming in tonight, 8 innings.
Peralta. Third inning of work. 2 strikeouts, a walk, a hit. 2 hits, actually, no runs. Top 2 hitters in the Atlanta lineup tonight, on base 6 times.
For drive of the game, Martin Prado, 3 hits tonight, couple of singles right there, 1 led to a run, and then this one, a big double into the gap. So 3 hits equals the drive of the game.
And he hits that one hard, but right at Ian Desmond. If you can't join us at the ballpark for a day game tomorrow, hope you can be with us right here on Masson HD. Nats Extra, 12 o'clock. Derek Lowe, 10 and 8. And for Jim Riggleman, Scott Olson returns, and suddenly Riggleman has 2 lefties in his rotation. Olson will make his 9th start, 2-2 with a 3.77 ERA. Well, every series between these clubs has come down to a deciding game this year. Nats took 2 out of 3 here back in May. The Braves 2 out of 3 at Turner Field a couple of weeks ago. Tomorrow starting to look like a rubber game. Ryan Zimmerman on the run, and just no time to get over there.
Well, another tough lefty warming up down in the pen.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Wagner.
The guy with 407 saves.
Yeah, that would be the one. Kid that taught himself to throw left-handed. After he had broken his right arm twice in 2 years as a child.
One and 2 the count to Hayward. He's walked twice and doubled tonight. Ooh, the Mets just got 2 in the 8th. After trailing 6-0, they're down 7-5 now at Citi Field. Roy Halladay finally gave up a run. Arizona got one in the top of the 9th. Hayward takes a fastball right in there. He says to the umpire, "My bad." He didn't want the ump to think he was tossing the bat, and he said, "That was me." Walks away, 2 down.
Let's check it out right here. The 20-year-old on the 2-2 pitch. This is a swing back fastball, strike 3. And he just kind of drops the bat. And that's out of, I can't hit that pitch. Here you go on the Exmo. Joel Peralta.
His 3rd strikeout, facing Chipper Jones now, trying to close out 3 innings of scoreless relief.
How about that forkball to just get me over forkball? Difference between that and then the out pitch one he'll throw in the dirt. Throw that one. He knows it. He's not out.
Chipper Jones 1 for 3 tonight. Sac fly, single, 2 RBIs. He's now driven in 41 on the year.
There's Billy.
Billy just had a birthday 3 days ago, 39 years of age. And Chipper pops it up short center. Niger Morgan coming in. Pretty solid on the pitching side for the Nats tonight. Can the offense do it? Pitcher spot due up next. Bottom of the ninth ahead. Those last outs have been made. Omar Infante in for Chipper Jones at third. And that's not the only change. Billy Wagner. 5 blown saves on the year to go with his 22. Christian Guzman, batting right-handed, will lead off. It looks like Rodriguez next, and then Willingham for Willie Harris. Guzman as a pinch hitter this year, 4 for 9. With 4 runs batted in. Overall, 0 for his last 11. Not in the lineup tonight. After going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against the Braves last evening. One to Guzman, a rip and a pitch up. .45 career wins, as mentioned earlier. .407 on the saves. Very impressive career ERA. Rob, what's a good ERA for a closer?
That's a phenomenal ERA for a closer because a couple of bad outings in a year can skyrocket an ERA over 4.
Okay.
You know, a couple of bad games, but anything under 3 for a guy that's had a 15, 18-year career like Billy. They got 15 years.
Nats will take a runner any way possible.
I mean, you and I probably feel that Billy Wagner deserves Hall of Fame consideration, but you also have Rivera's up over 500.
Guzman will lift one to center, but it's going to hang up. Melky Cabrera, Trevor Hoffman, of course.
4 away from 600. And those two guys, well over 80% save percentage throughout their careers.
You know, until Lee Smith gets in, maybe there'll be some other guys who shouldn't.
Well, and you know, he's fast approaching John Franco. If he were to stay around maybe 1 or 2 more years, John Franco has the most saves ever by a left-hander. I'll look it up in a second. I want to look up the blown saves by Billy Wagner.
Here's Pudge, way inside.
So 38 career blown saves and 400 saves.
38, 407. That's a 93% conversion rate.
That's impressive.
Josh Willingham next for Willie Harris. Three-one Braves. 2 outs to go. Pudge 1 for 3 with a double tonight. Has scored the Nats' only run. Well, the difference between 3-1 and a tie game right now. The Adam Kennedy double play ball in the 3rd. And the rocket up the middle by Kennedy in the 5th that hit Tim Hudson's leg to keep the Nats from scoring another run. The fly ball in the 3rd and an inch either way in the 5th, and this game is a whole lot different. Rodriguez goes the other way, out of play, right side. Phillies closed out that 7-1 win at home against Arizona, so the Braves will have to win to stay 3.5 games up on the Phils, who've now won 7 in a row. Marlins have gone into extra innings at San Francisco 9-9, and the Mets just scored 4 in the 8th to tie St. Louis at 7. Angel Pagan, his 9th home run. 1-2 to Pudge Rodriguez. Breaking ball in the dirt, and the tag, 2 down. Nats were hoping for a base runner to give Willingham a chance to tie it. He'll just have to try to get aboard here.
1-2 pitch after some really tough fastballs. Then he drops the 83 mile an hour slider down off the plate. There you see him on top of it. Fastball, breaking ball. You see the tight spin dot out front. But when you're looking for 95 and you get that 12 mile an hour differential at 83, it's not easy to slow the bat down and hold up your swing.
Josh Willingham flies one to left. Ball is playable. Right at the barrier, and Omar Infante misjudged it.
The all-star Omar Infante at third base for Chipper Jones for defensive purposes.
Exactly. He was under that ball, and he underran it.
Well, he looks like he takes his eye off it right there. He looked up. Either he felt Alex Gonzalez or he was looking down the line to see how close he was to the wall. There's no tarp where he was. Tarp is actually on the other side of the field, so.
And Willingham hits one a long way to center. Cruising for it, Melky Cabrera, and the Braves win it 3-1. Tim Hudson and company scattering 7 hits. The Nats strand 6 base runners tonight. The Braves left 9, and tomorrow will be a rubber game. For Rob Dibble and Debbie Taylor, Bob Carpenter, Atlanta 3, Washington 1. Thursday, Masson HD, Nats Braves. We'll get you going at noon with Nats Extra, Johnny and Ray. This has been a presentation of Masson. And by the way, Scott Olson makes his return tomorrow. Stay tuned. Nets Extra coming up. And from the booth, so long for